Alright, time for another interior video. So I've reached something of a milestone, at least for myself, on this car. The interior is basically all fixed. So the stuff that I want to do in the future is going to involve upgrades like LED lights for the dash and the HVAC controls, but as of right now, this car is completely fixed. Like, there's no missing plastics or incorrect stuff in here. So I'll just go over all of the stuff that I've added in the last couple of weeks. First thing I did was refreshed all of the door hardware. So if you see on the inside of the doors, these things are all new. I got all new bolts down below, as well as new bezels here and screws over there. So this is looking like factory. Oh yeah, I also got a new armrest over here. Factory piece from Japan. Not too expensive, about 180 bucks, which, you know, for an out of production car is not bad. Got a brand new tweeter here, so this thing moves. Before it was broken, but now it's fixed. And I was also able to find Alpine grill badges, which is cool. Found them on eBay, and I just put some construction adhesive behind the badge and just stuck it on the grill, and they look good. So, no more missing plastic pieces. I also got a new shift ball. The stock shifter knob was in pretty bad shape. And I also just don't really like the Toyota manual shift knobs. They're like kind of square. I had a similar one in the Tacoma, which I replaced with the TRD ball. But this one was cool. I found it online. It's a little smaller than the one in the truck, which is great. It fits really nicely in the hand. And you can like grab it from any direction. That's what I like. It screws on to the stock location without any adapters or anything, but I did have to get a bushing, a bronze bushing that I found online and polished up. That just sits underneath the ball, and it stops the ball from it stops the ball from interfering with the reverse lockout collar. Whoops. So all in all, pretty nice. I really like it. It feels great, and it's very it's got a cool design. I like that carbon fiber look on the inside with the red on the outside, and I think it offsets well with the bronze shifter. So kind of a unique piece that kind of just gives a finishing touch to the center console here. TPMS and BTI computer or display are in, and the very, very last thing that I'm waiting on, which should come tomorrow, is a quick release bracket for my fire extinguisher bracket that I installed. So I like to run fire extinguishers in modified cars because you never know when something terrible could happen, and you always want to be prepared. This is a Bracketeer, the Bracketeer brand bracket. What it does is it basically just bolts into the front bolts on the seat rail. And once I get the QD, it's just going to go in here and then wrap around the extinguisher, so it should sit right about here. It does limit the forward motion of the passenger seat a little bit, but as you can see, it's still got like 6 inches from where it is now, which is fine. So I don't think that should be a problem. Yeah, the only other thing, it's not really an interior piece, it's part of the electronics. So apparently these AEM Infinity ECUs have an issue with, people call them hiccups or misfires. I'm not really sure what it is. Some people report that fuel pressure spikes, like it's missing spark or something on a Revolution. Maybe it's like missing a crank signal sensor signal. Either way, it was happening on this car, which is kind of a bummer. Apparently, it doesn't happen on boost, or it doesn't happen on boost very often. But then again, you know, most of the time you're not in boost. But either way, the solution supposedly, allegedly, is to replace the igniter. I'll put a picture up. The stock igniter has a part number ending in 020, and apparently there's a newer one out ending in 030 that came on Toyota Avalons, and that's a plug-and-play replacement, and it supposedly fixes the problem. So I put that in. I found one online for a couple $100, and I put that in. Oh, you know what? Actually, I have the old one here. So this thing is called an igniter. It provides high voltage power to the spark plugs. And this one is, I don't know if you can see that, but it says 020. It's part number something 22020. And the 20 is the bad affected unit. And so yeah, I was getting this problem where every like 15 or 20 minutes, only when cruising, so not when accelerating or in boost or decelerating, the car would just like stumble really quickly and then recover. So like it would just lose power for like a fraction of a second and then continue on like nothing happened. So obviously that is not good. And I was a little bit worried, but I did some searching, and apparently the 030 unit, which is installed down there next to the ECU, I just took it out, and like I said, it was a plug-and-play replacement. And I drove around for 30 minutes, and it was okay. The problem didn't happen again, but that's going to require some new testing, or some more testing. So my next video will probably be me driving this thing around. I also got new LED bulbs, which are pretty nice compared to the really shitty HIDs that came on this car when I bought it. I ripped out a whole bunch of wiring. I have a picture that I'll put up, but I ripped out a whole bunch of wiring and like 4 ballasts or relay boxes or whatever the hell they were. I know there were 2 ballasts and maybe 2 relay boxes, but there were 4 boxes that I ripped out and just threw straight into the trash, because I remember this on my, the same thing happened on my last car 20 years ago. The HID kits, basically they just don't work sometimes. Like you'll be driving and, you know, like one of them will just go out and you'll have to turn off your lights while moving and turn them back on to get them to work again. So that generation of technology is just pure garbage. So I ripped all that out. Felt great. I have all the new harnesses for the fog lights. That was in a previous video. But yeah, the new LEDs are super nice. You can see the fogs. I got the fogs too, so I would take it out for a drive right now, but it's kind of late and I'm tired. I've been working all day, so that'll be its own video. But yeah, this is a good milestone to reach in getting this car, you know, back up to speed, so to speak. I may change out this head unit still. I bought a Sony, I think they're AVIX CarPlay deck, but that was like $600, and I was like, well, you know, I don't actually need this right now, so I returned it to Best Buy, but maybe down the road I'll get one. This thing does Bluetooth just fine, so I'm happy for now. But TPMS sensor, computer works, or the display works. Everything is pretty much complete. I got the Alpine badge on the other side too, new bezel on this side as well. That one was kind of scratched up. So this car is basically, you know, like stock, OEM plus, as they say, and I'm very happy with that. So I don't think I'm going to be doing much to the interior. Maybe like I said, the LEDs, and at some point in the distant future, a deck when this car is to the point where I want to drive it all the time. So yeah, let me just put this thing away. I'm going to keep this in the car as a backup until I'm confident that the new one is not going to give me any weird problems, since it's just a plug and play. Yeah, so I'll have a shot of the, or I'll make another video when the extinguisher comes in and I do the test drive, or the quick release bracket for the extinguisher comes in, and do a test drive. But I've also made some changes under the hood, just some cleanup mods, modernization, stuff like that. All right, so first thing I did was remove the HIDs, which cleaned up this entire area over here. Before, this thing was just filled with wires like a giant rat's nest, and it's replaced by just that. I've got two of them. I don't know if you can, yeah, the other fog is in here. But yeah, next up was this 4-inch intake from Powerhouse. The previous one was like a 3-inch and it had a reducer here, and it was really not very attractive looking. I got some vibrant hose separators and a PHR bracket for the engine harness, which cleaned this entire area up a little bit. Previously, it was just held on by zip ties. Got an oil cap. Got a radiator plate. There was a non-Supra radiator overflow tank here that did not look good. They just shoved it in, so that was all bad. Yeah, this thing maybe polished was a bad idea. This thing is just gonna get scratched up. And then finally I got the Freed Engineering radiator overflow tank and tubed it all up. So it's got the overflow tube here and then a drain tube down there. You can see it over here. So this is new, which cleaned up the front end of the car tremendously. Other than that, I just tidied up some of the wiring. Oh yeah, I got a titanium bolt kit for the set for the coil covers. The old ones were all rusty. 2 of them were missing, and they were just in bad shape. So this is basically looking like a Supra should look. So I've got an appointment at the fabricators. He's gonna make me a new, oh yeah, that's right. I also got a turbo blanket from DEI, some heat shielding down there. But the fabricator is going to make me a new downpipe, as well as a mid pipe with a catalytic converter. So I'm going to take this stuff off so I have it as a straight through setup, and then I'm going to have a cat setup that I can run on the street. So that will, I'm going to drive the car a lot more after that's done. They're also going to raise the car by 1/2 inch because it's way too low right now, and then they're also going to do the tie rods and some other stuff to freshen up the suspension a little bit and steering. But yeah, other than that, making good progress on this thing. It's coming along nicely, so should have more driving videos once this is fully 100% safe and fun to drive. All right, cool. Thanks for watching. Bye. Yeah, a little bonus review. I got these Leviton USB-A and USB-C GFCI outlets in my kitchen. I installed them yesterday, and so far so good. They are working fantastic, and it's super convenient not having adapters all over the place in my kitchen where I stand and work on the laptop sometimes. So don't mind that. It's just my dog drinking his water. Yeah, so far so good. GFCI, so they're nice and safe and up to code. One thing I did have to do was get deeper electrical boxes, which was a real pain in the ass. So the ones that I had were 14 cubic inches, and the ones that I got were 22 cubic inches. So these things are pretty deep. There's obviously extra extra circuitry in there for the USB and also the GFCI functionality, so it's probably not going to fit in whatever box you have. They're like 50% deeper, so word to the wise. Okay, have a good one. See ya.